What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Tears for Fears, as well as Luca, who's in my chair. And we're going back to Songs for a Nervous Planet 2024. We're going to listen to one of the tracks I have not reacted to previously, one of the new tracks for the album, and that is Say Goodbye to Mom and Dad. It sounds sad. It sounds like we might actually be talking about the process of dealing with your parents passing away. And sometimes that can happen in short succession, meaning one passes away and then very quickly the other one maybe deteriorates because of the emotional and physiological impact. In some cases it happens over a longer timeline. Of course, it could be in relation to disconnect, like socially. Sometimes there is a falling out between child and parent, and there might be some reason why they would no longer have any contact. I expect this to be more the biological or indeed mortal reason, the idea of mom and dad passing away. So if that's right, it sounds like it's set up to be emotionally heavy, if not overtly sad. Of course, there could be some meaning that is specific to a narrative that is not actually about parents dying, but on the surface of it, it sounds like it is indeed going in that direction, so I'll see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Tears for Fears from their 2024 album Songs for a Nervous Planet. Once again, thank you to Kim for helping me get this copy, which is, again, the special copy that was done through Target stores and features Landlocked. And in fact, a couple people commented, including one person I think yesterday, about the tune Landlocked and where they can get it. If you do get a copy through Target, you can get the version with that extra track on there. Ultimately, I'm sure there's places where you might be able to download it. I don't know if the Tears for Fears, I assume they run their own website in the moment. I'm not actually entirely confident of that, but I'm guessing there are places that you can get it, but certainly you can get it through the version of Songs for a Nervous Planet that was done in conjunction with or as a cross-promotion with Target. In any case, this is Tears for Fears. The track is Say Goodbye to Mom and Dad, and it's from their 2024 album Songs for a Nervous Planet.
Tomorrow comes.
almost a bit haunting in the austere and sudden ending. So I'll try to think about the lyrics and themes at first. I feel like it's a larger scale than I was considering, and the idea of mom and dad might be less literal, though more generational, meaning the idea of a world that was like the world of your mom and dad, a world where things were a bit simpler, things were a bit more predictable, things were perhaps a bit more old school, a bit more traditional, but also perhaps less volatile, less chaotic. That world is going, in fact, it's not just going, it is gone. It is not around anymore. And the world now has gone mad. And I feel like there's maybe a bit of a cheeky sideways reference to Mad World in that line, but the idea that there's now less predictability, there is a more chaotic, more divided world. I don't know if the Great Divide, I think you can read that line a few different ways, but it does feel like the Great Divide could be a generational one. There's the way things used to be, which is the world of mom and dad, or mom and dad. Say goodbye to that, because what exists now is something else entirely, and we just have to try to, find our way in a situation that is, again, more volatile, less comforting maybe, less clear, but something that is the reality, and therefore something that those who continue to live will have to deal with. And perhaps the mom and dad in question might not be literal, and if they are, they might even still be alive, but perhaps they're at a point where they don't have to adjust in the way that a younger generation does. Now, obviously, the Tears for Fears is, they've been around for more than 40 years now, so ultimately Roland and Curt are perhaps in a middle range when it comes to that dynamic, if it is a generational divide as I'm thinking. Nevertheless, I do think that this could be speaking to a younger generation than themselves, a generation that will inherit a world that has fundamentally changed and is not going back. I think that was a clear indication, one of the lines, where it's like, it's not just that it's change, it's that it's change and it's beyond a threshold of restoring, whether that's desirable or not, the previous way of doing things. I do enjoy the sonic construction. It was lighter and brighter and more sing-songy, for lack of a better word, than I expected given the title, though again, I was sort of reading the title in a more literal way. But yeah, we had whistles, we had what sounded like a little string riff going back and forth. We had, of course, vocals that go very high and soaring at moments, but are also in this smooth middle range for a lot of the track. Guitar, I think, stood out near the end, so yeah, there's like some keyboard sounds, some string sounds, a guitar sound, so there's a nice mixture, but overall the atmosphere was lighter and even happier than I expected, which feels like maybe there's a bit of that dichotomy. If you're talking about the world kind of going mad and not being able to go back to the way it was and not being maybe as simple as it used to be, but you're whistling and you're in an overall elated type of sonic atmosphere, it feels like there's a bit of contradiction or dichotomy at hand. So it feels like it's maybe one of those tunes where the lyrics and the sonics are running in different directions, which creates a nice tension to the tune, which feels like, again, whether you're talking about two different generations or two different configurations for the world, it feels like that tension does fit very well. So yeah, I wonder if I'm reading some of those lines correctly, if I'm getting some of the themes in the direction they're actually headed, but ultimately a cool tune, and one that, as I said, surprised me a bit given the stark and heavy sound of the title relative to what I actually heard, and again, maybe with a cheeky throwback to one of their very earliest singles. So yeah, as I said, there's a number of tunes on here that are performances of tunes from their catalog, their back catalog, but I think there's at least two more, or at least one more, maybe two of the original tracks that I haven't yet reacted to, so I will continue to go through those. It threw me off a little because I reacted to two of the tracks from this album. Thank you again to Kim before I had my copy of the album, but as I said, I think there's at least one or two more originals, and then we'll go through the other ones as well. Do let me know what you think, and Luca, the very tired horizontal cat, and I shall see you next time. Peace.